Hey everybody, thanks for being here. My name is Sean Young. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Classcraft, and today I'm just going to talk to you a bit about where we are with the platform. Just before we start, I was a teacher for 10 years, and Classcraft came out of my classroom, so product that is built by teachers for teachers. And basically the reason Classcraft exists is because there's a real crisis of engagement. This is a study that was done to 1 million students by Gallup 2015. And what we can see from this graph is that the longer kids are in school, the less they want to be there, which is, pretty disheartening, especially if you're working at the middle school and high school level, and realizing that this has a systemic impact on social emotional learning, academic performance, school climate, referrals, attendance, suspension, all these different metrics that schools are more and more being held to and don't really have effective ways to engage with and deal with. And so that's where Classcraft comes in. The idea with Classcraft is to make school into a collaborative learning experience designed around play. And so from a very simplistic way, we gamify school. As you'll see, from a more holistic perspective, what we are is an engagement management system. And so these are kids who are using our technology to play Classcraft. You can tell they're playing Classcraft because they have our logos on their hearts. But ultimately, there's no tech in this picture, right? And so where's the platform? What's going on with the app? Ultimately, the goal with Classcraft is to create these kinds of experiences. So an app-enabled initiative, but ultimately driving real-life experiences that transform the classroom and the social relationships between kids. And so the way it works is that we, in essence, it's like augmented reality for the classroom. So you have your real-life classroom experience, and kids coming into middle school experience, going day to day. And what we do is hook together real-life learning with virtual learning, and add this layer of game on top of real-life interactions. So coming to school is the game, and what that means is that for kids, they get this whole layer of meaning on top of this. They have to be there. They don't want to be there. There's this huge engagement problem. If you were at the keynote, you'll know that all this social emotional stuff is pretty important. And so we aim to solve that by adding this layer of game on top of it. So as they participate in class, they'll get points, they'll level up. They can be mages, warriors, healers, and they're playing in teams. And as they level up, they'll get powers like being able to eat in class or hand in an assignment a day late. All the while going through their curriculum through a personalized learning engine called Quests. And so teachers can teach the way they normally would teach, but add this layer of game to drive engagement. And so if you could just click on that, please, at the back. This is just a bit of a video of how teachers are using this in the classroom. So this is footage we shot at some schools in Chicago. And really just a bunch of B-roll, just so you can get a sense of what's going on. Really great app, and I'm not really going to talk about that, but more talk about what's happening in these classrooms. So these kids are middle school. They're playing a boss battle in Classcraft, and you can see they're all working together and answering on a whiteboard to beat this monster that's happening in the digital world of Classcraft. This is a middle school teacher teaching science, so she's just teaching the way she normally would. Kids go to work, and while they're working, very standard setting, she's giving them points for participating well in class and being on task. This is the students customizing their avatar. There's literally billions of combinations there. This is a teacher doing more of a lecture style and using Classcraft to gamify the interactions with kids. And this is a school-wide rollout. So here you can think like Harry Potter type of thing. So they divided the whole school into clans and gamify the whole school experience. And really that's what we're trying to do, change school climate. And that manifested itself in this school-wide giant dance-off. So this is the type of level of engagement we want to get, not just punctual engagement around learning math or this little reading exercise, but actually engagement around the full experience of being in school. So you can just switch back to the presentation, please. So the story of Classcraft is we launched that 4 years ago. We're now in 75 countries, 11 languages, 4 million students in the platform, students, parents, and teachers. We raised a small Series A in the spring, and we're in 160,000 US classrooms right now. So been scaling pretty fast. This approach has found a lot of educators really excited about it. I just met one over at lunch earlier today. and have successfully been driving revenue from teacher sales, school sales, and also district sales. We have a great team. Myself, we're actually a family company, so co-founded with my brother, who's a designer based in New York. I'm based in Canada, and we have a really great group of investors on our board, and one of our board members is Kimberly Harrington, former Commissioner of Education for New Jersey. She just finished in that role and has now moved on to working with us. So some pretty great partners leading the charge here. And the vision with Classcraft is to be not just a gamification platform, but an EMS, so an engagement management system for the whole child. Connecting with different partners. We're Google Education partner, partnering with Microsoft, we integrated with Clever. So connecting through the LMS and SIS layer and adding a layer of engagement on top of that to give meaning to these experiences for kids. And then bringing in our own behavioral data that's coming in through the game and the classroom management. And then we just launched an API, and we're in discussion with various groups in terms of gamifying other ed tech platforms. So if, let's say you're using Newsela and you want to drive engagement in Newsela, you'll get points for reading things in Newsela back into the Classcraft ecosystem. So acting as this systemic layer of engagement on top of the whole school experience, both physical, but also all this like digital experiences that are happening throughout a child's life. So a pretty compelling platform vision. Why is this important? Because engagement is a core issue. Schools are trying to tackle it. They have no way to manage it, and they have no way to track it. So this is where the EMS vision comes in, where we drive solutions for this problem, but also give them the data that they need to be able to take decisions. So we just built this recently, school-wide analytics for engagement metrics and behavior metrics across the building with really high fidelity data because kids really want their points. And ultimately driving education engagement for the whole child. I'm over by 2 seconds, just finishing on some efficacy studies, 10% increase in grades in one study. We saw engagement go from 50 to 85% in another study. So really, we're solving that problem. We've got the data, we've got the scale to do it, to really solve the engagement issue. Thank you so much.